Hello, good evening, everyone. As you know, today's topic is very different from what we generally discuss. We discuss about design, we discuss about prototype, we discuss about UI, we discuss about UX, and all this happened when we do our design with our own software. So basically, let me know if you guys can hear my voice. Uh, and also if there is any lagging or if there is something, please let me know. uh, right so what I was talking about is that today we will not talk about the design part. Today we'll talk about after finishing the design, when we do the handoff to our developer, and then when developer build those pages or those screens, and then there's a crucial part, giving feedback to their implementation. And there is a lot of things can get mismatch, which we call it like pixel perfect implementation. It may not happen, but how we can actually make sure that our designs are getting 100% pixel perfect. For that, I have a special guest today, and he is not a designer. We call him Testing Panda. He dedicated his career to this field, and he is currently the CEO of Moolya. Moolya is a number one testing company in India. So I had a chance to work with him, and I have a long story, but I don't want to discuss the story today. What is the interesting part is, being a non-designer, he built a tool for designers, and we will be discussing that today. His name is Pradeep Soundararajan, as you know from our teaser and the banner, but we call him PS. So throughout the show, I will call him PS, and sometimes I will call him, a Testing Panda. And if you are around, please don't forget to say hi, Testing Panda. So that will give you some, good hi from LinkedIn or from YouTube or from Facebook. Yeah. So, without any further delay, let me welcome Pradeep, means PS, and rest Pradeep will talk about himself, and then we will go with the show. Welcome to my live show, PS. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for your kind words, and I'm quite happy to be catching up with some good people online on this beautiful Sunday evening. It's been quite hot today in Bangalore, and it's kind of cooling down. And this is one of the great ways to cool down. So I'm quite happy about what we're doing, Rakesh, and thanks a lot for for all the kind introduction. And just to make it explicit, one of my friend made a joke about this PS, and he said, "He's I hope it's not BS, it's PS, right?" So, so from that perspective, yeah, you can call me PS, you can call me Pradeep, you can call me the Testing Panda, whatever you to call. I'm fine with all of that stuff.
So, Pradeep, you are a non-designer, but I got a chance to work with you, and you have a different perspective about the design.
Yeah.
So, if you can talk about that, how you think about design, and what exactly motivates you to, encourage designers to through your product.
Yeah. So I've been in the space of software testing for about 17 years now. And over the 17 years of and my early years of finding bugs and reporting bugs and all of that stuff, I used to report a mix of UI, UX, and let's say deeper firmware issues and things like this, right? Now, one thing that I identified by working with a lot of testers is that they don't know the difference between UI and UX. And I had the opportunity to to go study deeper about what experience means as compared to just the UI, and that fascinated me. And then I really learned, usability testing for products, not just software products, but also physical products, physical products, like for example, I was involved in a project which involved building a dock. And we had to design the dock, and I had to test for the design of the dock and all of that stuff. So my passion for design, my passion for what's it, testing for experience began in my journey of being a tester itself. And I was quite pissed off whenever I saw people who were not knowing the difference between UI and UX. So, and that's what actually motivated me to go deeper and study about it. So while being a software tester, that gives an opportunity to explore design, to explore technical aspects of it as well. And over the years, people choose different kind of specialization. And for me, I've stayed quite good at the front end, at the product layer. So that's where me and design coexist, together at the intersection of design and the testing.
Cool. So that's quite interesting to know. So today, generally, I don't write the questions what I'll ask, but
Okay.
specifically for this topic, I put some note that what I'm going to ask, because this topic is generally we don't discuss in any forum or anywhere.
Yeah.
So uh, as you all know that it's called visual feedback.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear, it's not a feedback of our design. It's a feedback where a designer is giving to a developer. So when
Yeah.
a page or a product is getting built, that time how a designer is giving the feedback. That means after handoff, what happened, how to make sure that our designs are building pixel perfect. So that's the topic. So maybe my banner and all, it may little mislead, but this is what we are going to discuss today. So how you think that this visual feedback is important? What exactly kicks you that okay, now this is the time, let's jump into this and solve this problem?
Yeah. So so for me, I have I have a sense of design, but I may not be a full-time designer. Having a sense of design, when I communicate what I want to people, I see that there's a huge value drop. And by the time they convert it, and then they convert it, and then they convert it, the value drop is kind of actually steep. So for me, what interested me is that I started looking at when we were trying to build a couple of products in Moolya. I was looking at the interaction between the designer and the developer, and then there was always this constant, what's a feedback loops going on between designer and developer, saying, "Hey, this minute thing should be here. This minute thing should be here," right? And this was resulting in a lot of conversations between the designer and the developers. Now, I've spoken to quite a number of design companies right now, and some of them say that we now build developers who are design sensitive. And even there, they do have variations. And even when they ship the HTML, like for example, you might be using Figma, you might be building the design, and then the developer gives a HTML. And when you go through this feedback loops and you release it to the customer also wants to give you feedback loops, right? The customer never comes back and says, "Hey, look, this API is not great." They always say this is where the problem is, and they always point to the UI. And hence most of the customer feedback comes to the UI. And what I felt is that if we've made it very difficult for customers to provide feedback, we have made it very difficult for people to provide feedback. So for me, I was kind of passionate to build a feedback loop which is easy for people to provide feedback and which is easy for the developers to understand feedback. So that's where the passion for solving this problem actually began.
That's something actually, after handoff we forget everything, and then we struggle to match our customers expectation, and also we struggle to match our own expectations.
Yeah,
That's the biggest challenge which you have already solved. So let's come to that point.
sure.
What is Bagasura, and
Great.
what a designer like us can do with Bagasura? If you can just spend some time to explain that.
Yeah. So Bugasura is a simple tool for designers and testers to provide feedback to developers. That's what it is as of now, and it's a very visual way to provide feedback on web, mobile web, and native apps. Now we have seen a lot of tools that designers already use, but what is happening is that there are multiple tools people use, like a ruler, like a CSS visualizer, like a pixel what's a visualizer, and things like this, right? And then they use grids, they use a whole lot of things, and this comes in a combination of tools. Now this is all happening on the designers, on the designers, what's a machine. How does a developer see what the designer did, and what is the experience that people are talking about? So that's what we have tried to do, is we have tried to think about it as like that screenshot annotation sucks for giving certain kind of feedback, and video annotation is not possible, right? So what we have tried to do is to build a very simple way and very simple tool to provide visual feedback. It's like point shoot, point shoot, point shoot. And I just want to give the people watching an analogy. We had these cameras. We had these cameras where people had to know about, the focal point, the aperture, the distance and the brightness and the ISOs and things like that. And this made photography a very, very complex activity, and that made photograph cameras to be in a very few people. But when digital came, when people were able to use like a point and shoot camera, the number of cameras in this world exploded. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are just giving people a superpower to give visual feedback in the most easiest of the ways.
Yeah. So, uh, uh, you know, as as you all know, Moolya is a testing service company, but Pradeep and his team already built a couple of products which
Yeah.
directly not related to Moolya, but these products are used by testers and as well as designers. So
Right.
we are actually talking that today. My friend Kunal is asking that how Moolya test its product with real time. So I just wanted to throw this question on
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
and if
That's
you can, Pradeep, just take this. Uh,
sure. Okay. First of all, hi
Thank
Kunal.
you.
How are you doing? Okay, pleasure to discover you. And I'm just going to read out the question. How do Smoolia test its product with real-time users? How rigorous and sensitive is the process, since it requires interaction between designers and developers? Fantastic. So one of the things that we are doing is we have found a few partner design agencies. We are working with design agencies like Happiness Interactive, Yellow Chalk, and then we have Till It Clicks from Pune. So we're closely working with these design agencies who are actively giving us feedback, and based on using the tool, and things like this. Okay, the second thing is that we have a lot of analytics, what's it built, and which kind of tells us what are people using, what are people not using, where are they struggling, and things like this. So we are doing a bunch of tests pre-production. We're doing a bunch of tests post-production, and right now we are in a kind of limited beta, And that's the reason why we are working with these design agencies who are absolutely churning a lot of designs every single day. So that's where, that's how we are getting our products both used and tested by real users. I hope that helped at a that helped as a very quick answer.
Yes, I think you know in a short form you gave that gist that how you are actually working with different agencies with your
Right.
team. So before going further, if you can just spend quick few minutes and share that what exactly Bagasura is doing, and if you can share your screen and if you can show
Sure.
something, then
Sure.
after that the discussion will be a little more interesting.
Sure.
So over to you. Please share your screen.
Sure. I'm just quickly sharing the screen, and you can tell me if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen right now? Am I showing you the Bagasura website right now?
Yes, this is absolutely coming, perfect. I
Okay.
think, yep, yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so here is our website, and what I'd like to do is I'm just going to pose a scenario where I've been the designer, and here is the HTML my developer has given me, and I want to give feedback about it. So here is, as I mentioned, we have the Chrome extension, and which is what I'm going to use right now. We also have an Android app to test the mobile app, and here is the Bugasura, and I'm going to get started off here with um, you know with a report name. I'm just going to say what's the demo. This is one thing. And now what I have right now is the tester version. There's also a designer version which does not go through this same experience. Okay, but I'm just going to give a flow name of homepage, and then I'm going to start testing.
Yeah.
And when I start off testing, the recorder has already started off, and with the recorder I have a doc, okay, in which I can, I get these options to visualize the CSS. I get options to look at the ruler. I can enable and disable the ruler, if I want to. Okay, and then I can also take an explicit screenshot, but it keeps recording everything that I'm doing. It keeps recording every interaction that I'm having. And then assume if I
Yeah.
have a feedback about something about this, you want to
Maybe the
interrupt me?
size is less, or maybe the size is less, maybe the size needs to be bigger. So this UI is quite familiar, the way we work inside Figma, or the other design tool. Like it's quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So it's something like also what we have seen in Sketch, right? So what the Sketch also uses something very similar, but this works at a handoff. And let's assume I want to give a feedback about something related to this, and now I go report. I want to report an issue, or I want to report a bug. I get to see, the whole flow interaction, and then I can go kind of annotate on different portions of the screen, and I can also capture what I was actually trying to say, and I can give a summary of this issue, saying, hey, what's the icon placement needs change, and then if I want to add add a description, I can do so. Okay, and then I have some tags in terms of what kind of issues this is, and then I can
Oh,
actually
that's
reply,
fantastic.
and I can go and I can do my next flow. Okay, now when I end the session, what happens is that I instantly get a report which can be shared with the developer, and I and here you can see that the report is ready, and it has already captured what I've done. So you can see the flow, you can see the screenshots that are actually taken. You can see that my device details is captured, my summary and everything is captured. So this becomes a pretty visual way of explaining to the developer, and the developer has the context of everything. Now, apart from this, now one of the things that we have seen is that most of the issues go and sit in like Excel sheets, right? And now, this also has an inbuilt, tracker, and you can share, you can do a Jira sync here, right away. Okay, so there's an option to do a Jira sync, or you can export it into a CSV or a JSON format. But okay, Bagasura also comes with with an inbuilt tracker, so you can go and you can add a comment saying, hey, this is important, um, um, or you can assign it to a developer that's already on the project, or you can actually
Okay.
change the criticality of it. Okay, and then you're done, everything is automatically saved, and what's it, that's it, and now you can go and report more issues and stuff like that. So that's how simple and easy this is. And okay, we should be, that's all, that's how simple we made it, in order
So
to what's it, provide feedback and have a very visual way of understanding the report.
this is fantastic. Like I will not give you the reaction, but couple of reaction we got. I just show them on screen.
Sure, fantastic.
This is one reaction to see you, and then Nisharg, my friend, is saying that this is nice. Thank you, Nisharg. And Ajay is saying that looks good. Testing Panda, well done. And not only that, Ajay is also talking about the we will connect soon on this. Some of our
Yeah,
clients could be
fantastic.
benefit from this.
Fantastic.
So
That is really cool to hear.
huh. So how a user can go and test this? How a designer can go and experience this?
Yeah. So so we have a 7-day free trial, and somebody can go, okay, install this, go to the Bugasura.io website, okay, download the Chrome extension or the Android app, and you can just get started. And when you sign up, you can do a Google sign in. So the whole process of user ID, password, everything is out. And when you do a Google sign in, and once you sign in, it's going to ask you, are you a designer or are you a tester? And you can select you're a designer, and then the whole experience changes for a designer. And you can select a tester if you're a tester, and the whole experience actually changes for it. Now, why we built this for both the designer and the tester is that we're working with quite a few design agencies, and these design agencies have their designers also giving feedback to developers, and they also have some QA folks in their company giving some feedback to the developers. So the QA folks, want to, come up with test cases and things like that. So for them, the flow is like that. The designers, we're building a totally different experience for them. So like half of what I showed you is not there for designers. It's like point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot. And the most important thing that we're doing is that, for in terms of a thought process of building this for designers, right, it's the very difficult to build it for designers, because very difficult to build it for designers and testers. You know why, right? You will find 1,000 bugs in our product itself,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So one of the things that we do is that we're not just adding features. We are trying to see, can we remove features? Can we remove things that are obstacles? So we are actively working with people, and we are trying to see what do they not want, and try to remove that and experience and all of that stuff. So so that's where it is.
Yeah. So, is it only limited to Chrome now, or you are planning for something? Because one of the comment Shivabruto asked for that, can we build for a Mozilla something? So, are you planning for Mozilla, or is it just for Chrome right now? Means
Absolutely.
what's that?
So we want to get a minimum user adoption. After which we are going to expand this for Safari. We're going to expand this for Mozilla Firefox. We're going to expand this for Opera if people are interested in it. And we're also going to expand this for iOS. So we have this running for multiple browsers in the mobile phone, right? So when somebody installs the Android app, you can use Firefox. You can use your custom browser that your phone manufacturer has. would have used IE, I don't know if it's still there. I'm sorry, the Edge. You can
I think there is a little bit of you know delay because of the connectivity. So um, yeah, so I think there needs to be a stabilization of the internet because something is not coming out well. Um so this is what happened when you do the live. It's
there's
very yeah um,
sec,
yeah. This is
everybody
what
back.
happened when
I'm getting live.
yeah this
I'm getting live again.
yeah
It says I'm back. It says I'm back. It says I'm back.
right. So you are on. So we are trying to reconnect with PS. Let me. We are just trying to reconnect with PS. So uh, this is what happened when you do a live discussion, and if any of the internet
Connectivity
goes
issues.
off, then it creates a problem. So now PS again back. So PS,
Yeah.
yes, you were talking about iOS and other stuff. So please.
Yeah. So I was saying that in terms of our what's your roadmap, we want to work with some of the good early adopters, and we want to get some good feedback. We want to make the experience in such a beautiful way that then adding another browser, adding another operating system is just very easy. But if we don't get our flow right, if we don't get the right product market fit with what we've already built, and then we go expand, it becomes a maintenance nightmare. So that's the reason why we are building it in a great way for the Chrome, for all browsers on an Android, and the native apps, and all functionality that I showed was what also exists on the mobile apps. Once we get a basic fit in terms of like designers saying, hey, this is what exactly I want, then we replicate it over to all other platforms. But at least for the next 2 months we're going to be on these platforms. Okay, after which we're going to look to expand. Yes, so that's where
Right,
we are.
right, right. So let's say when any designer or any team is not using Jira, and if they just wanted to use Bagasura for their design report, that visual design report, and then if they bring the other stakeholders, uh, is that possible? Because in your visual reports, I just saw that you are assigning something.
Yeah.
So if they are assigning someone, they will get onboarded into your product, and then they can interact with that. This is how it works, or how that exactly works.
So one of the things, Rakesh, you would have seen by building multiple products all these years is that once a product goes live, everybody, including the CEO, the COO, the CTO, the developers, the marketing people, the salespeople, everybody starts to take screenshot of the bugs and report issues, right? So, so the way we have built Bagasura is that the whole team, think of it like a Slack, a visual Slack for the whole team. Be it a developer, be it a designer, be it a tester, be it a product owner. Anybody can use this. Anybody can assign issues to each other. And if they're not using Jira, as I showed to you, this has a team module. And you can welcome your whole team inside it, and everybody can collaboratively give feedback. And so this becomes a central repository for feedback. Right now, what's happening is that some people take a screenshot and send it to you over WhatsApp. Some people send it over, Slack. Now there's
Slack,
no
yeah.
right. There's no central repository. There's no tracking of issues, and and this happens even in companies that use Jira. And it becomes somebody's pain to capture all of this and recreate those tickets in Jira, right? That's like a lot of wastage of time. If once somebody is reported, it should be done and dusted. But that's not how it's happening. So that's the reason where Bagasura makes a lot of sense, where it makes everybody to give feedback, but it has more deeper tools for designers, and we are building a lot more, right? So that's something that we can talk about if that's of interest. But so far, this is where we have gotten into, and we're getting some good interest. And I'm very happy to see some of the comments where some of the designers are appreciating it, and somebody saying, "Hey, okay, this is what we need for to benefit our clients and all of that stuff." I'm so happy to hear that, and I want to work with them and continue to build the product. So when you
Yeah.
started off, you said, "Hey, while Pradeep is not a designer, he has built this tool for designers," and I
Yeah.
totally recognize that, and that's the reason why, as a product owner, what I'm doing is I'm partnering. I'm partnering with designers, making them my co-product owners, and that's the way I'm building the product.
That's something really amazing, because when you are building a product for a certain user, and if you are making them your product's co-owner, that is the you know best thing to do, because they know how things works.
Yeah.
So that's
There-
really cool. In fact, yeah. So there is one comment and I just wanted to clarify. This is after handoff. It is not related to handoff. When you hand off the design to your developer, means after that it exactly works. So means you are implementing, your front end guy or your developer already implemented that,
yeah.
and then after first version, second version, if there is a pixel perfect issue, if there is an alignment issue, if there is a design bugs issue, basically, if I conclude in that way, right?
Right.
So this is how it work. So is there any kind of automation apart from your Jira integration? Is there any kind of automation you have inside your thing?
So right now we are working on integrating with Figma. So
Okay.
so this is again, you have given, you've also given this feedback to us, and a couple of
Yeah.
designers that we're working with have also given this feedback, and they being the product owner, they decide what goes into the product, right? So
Hmm,
right now
hmm,
we're
hmm,
doing a Figma integration, whereby people, when they point at something, they will get a reference of what they design in Figma, and then they will see what is built. So that way, this acts like a diff tool, and this acts like a
hmm.
beautiful way for even the developer to compare and see if it's matching okay with it or not. The next level that we want to build, once we build the Figma integration, is that if we can run a check of the CSS of what the designer gave to what the developer built, and then show up two or three
Yeah,
issues,
yeah,
that will be
yeah.
the next big thing for us. So we are getting there step by step, and that's been the journey that we are on.
Yeah, actually, if that can happen, I think that's the biggest pain point you are going to solve. Because, yeah, for
Absolutely.
that, we as a designer also need to work very carefully with our Figma tool, because let's say your CSS naming convention is not correct, or maybe your layer naming convention is not correct, then every time you will face this problem, right?
Correct.
So in that case, for a designer also, there are a lot of responsibilities going to happen. And I think that's a challenge from a designer side, because that's a habit, that's a practice.
Yeah.
If we don't do, then maybe it will not work properly. It may break that entire system. So yeah, so uh, this live show was just for 30 minutes, and we passed 30 minutes.
Wow.
uh,
Great.
I try to I try to cover a lot of things, but there are a lot of things to cover, and there can be a lot of questions to PS, because PS is someone who, not just a testing partner, who is a very like inspiring people. If you are not getting inspiration, if you spend like 10-15 minutes, you will automatically get charged up, and you can get a lot of inspiration. I still remember when I was involved with you in the first product building,
Yeah.
Apache. So you mentioned about cockpit of a plane, and that's how you teach me that when you look at the dashboard, then think about it's a cockpit of a plane, and
Right.
pilot don't touch every places. Pilot only touch few places where it's require attention. So
Yeah.
so I got fortunate to work with you for some
Oh,
certain time, and I learned a lot from you. And
thank you.
and when I moved to Bangalore, PS was my first employer, mentor, and also a lot of people doesn't know that PS was my first house owner. Means I used
Oh,
to stay in PS's
no,
house.
no, that's okay.
So yeah, and that's a kind of, you know, uh, your persona is. So it is always, great to reconnect. It is always great to see that you are thinking for designers and you are building something for designers.
Yeah,
My last request or last question, maybe, like, there are a lot of individual designers who works as a freelancer, who may not work with any agency or any company. For them, is it still the same kind of price, or you are thinking for something, maybe a free kind of a model where you have, because I talk with a lot of designers, and I've seen that at a very beginning level they don't want to spend money. So, but is there something for them also, because that will help those those individual designers also, or
yeah,
maybe who are just starting their career, who have not got any job, but who are just doing maybe one project, and he or she wanted to use your product to go further.
yeah. So that's a very good question. And here's what I'd say. We have a very low price plan as of now, and we are going after a certain market. uh, there is still a lot more value to be built for the freelancers to also benefit in a big way. But right now we're looking at design agencies, we're looking at product companies, and these are the companies that can afford even the lowest of the pricings that we have. Now, in a future, we will certainly have a freemium, model that can benefit a lot more, people to learn and all of that stuff. But if somebody is watching, if somebody is a freelancer watching this video, and they connect to me and say, "Hey, I want to use this," when the pricing is a constraint, I'll be happy to open up as long as they're willing to give me some good feedback, right? So that's at this stage, I'm looking at working with people who can give me some really good feedback and help me build this product in such a way that I can take this product globally. So we have to do a trade-off. You either pay me $10 a month, or you give me feedback that I can make $1 billion a month in the future, right? So that's the trade-off I'm
Yeah,
looking at. And
yeah,
what I'd like to say is that certainly there should be something that we will come up with, as a component, which is free. So as of now, we are kind of small, and we are trying to what's it do a proof of concept. We are trying to build a minimum viable product and things like that. So for which we have kept a very low, very affordable, kind of a pricing. And if some people need help, and if that's an obstacle, I'll be happy to clear that. But essentially, we would be happy to get more of those requests, and then we would like to
yeah.
carve out a certain piece and then hand it over to the freelancers. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah, that will be really good, that somebody, if somebody wanted to test it out, and
Yeah,
if you are in a very early stage in entry level designers and
yeah,
can't afford, as PS mentioned, please connect with him. I just
yeah,
wanted to again make sure that the website is bagasura.io. The name is very funny, and the logo is also very funny,
yeah.
like
Thank you.
bug for asura. So it's
Yeah.
a bug killer for asura or something like that. How you get this name?
Yeah, so we were looking for a really funny name, right? So we've come up with a lot
Right.
of names and naming your baby and naming your startup is the most difficult thing in this world today, right? And everybody tries to come up with a unique name, and then they send their child to school, and there are hundreds of kids in the same name, no matter how unique they've come up with, right? So for us, we were like very, my partner and I, Avinash and I, we were like
Yeah.
struggling to come up with names. And then one day we picked up some of the funny names and said, "Hey, this name looks really cool, and this is very catchy." And we've got some very good feedback about the name, about the logo. So I'm also happy to hear the same from you. So thank you very much for the appreciation, for the kindness, for the time, and for all of your audience.
Yeah, thank you so much, PS. As we, we have to end this, and
Yeah,
as I mentioned, that if anybody wanted to get a flavor of Bagasura. It's a very
sure.
interesting product. I have done some testing. I have still a lot of things to check. So I am actually doing that. In between, I request PS that, hey, it's an interesting product. Why don't you come and share with all of us? So that's how today. Certainly, I planned that and I requested PS, and without any uh, any hesitation, PS said that, okay, I'll go and come and do this. So very very thank you to PS, and I hope that one day this Bagasura will be a billion-dollar company, and every designer will use that. So
Yeah.
so
Okay,
that
more than a billion-dollar company, I just hope that it becomes the most useful, one of the most useful tools for the, for the designers and the developers and the testers, and that way, I will find better peace and better purpose of my life. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you. And before ending, again, my friend Kunal put a nice comment that thank God they didn't
Ah,
name as Elon Musk did to his baby. Bagasur is a cool name. Thanks, Kunal,
sure.
for this wonderful, conclusion feedback. And again, there are some comments, and thank you for all of your comments. If you guys have any last question, please let me know. We can take this question. If it is not, then this video will be always there in YouTube. Of course, there in LinkedIn. You can comment that, or you can directly connect with PS. PS will definitely help you with all of the answer. And so, just to give you another clarity, that I test this product, and I found it really really interesting, and I hope if you guys are also testing, if you guys are also trying it out, you will get a very interesting sense of it. So without any more talk, I think we are at the end of the show. And
Cool.
once again, thank you, PS, and have a good night. And thank you everyone who joined us. And have a great night.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, bye bye.